For a game all about facing the existential terror of the unknown, Control's core elements have already been well documented since its debut at E3 2018. There's the blocky, brutalist architecture of the ever-shifting setting known as the Oldest House, Metroidvania-style progression with side quests, and secrets galore. While we still don't know much about her past, we've seen plenty of Jessie's uncanny abilities in action, as she levitates through the air, uproots concrete to shield herself from bullets, and throws furniture, all with the power of her mind. I got the chance to try out a few more of her abilities, including Siege, and the oh-so-satisfying Ground Slam that absolutely pulverises baddies thanks to Jessie's superhuman punches. Though more firing modes await in the final game, I got the chance to put the recombobulating service weapon through its paces in the rapid-fire spin and charged shot pierce modes. I used Pierce nearly all the time during my demo because its superpowered payload, which leaves a smouldering crater in anything or anyone it hits, has so much more oomph than the spin mode's piddly damage and frequent reloads. Of course, the spin mode might win me back thanks to the many weapon mods you can recover as you explore the Oldest House, all of which have intuitive benefits like buffed damage or shorter reload times. Jessie can also upgrade her own abilities using character mods, from everything from increased health pool to the invaluable quick recharge of your power meter. You can acquire mods through a variety of means: drops from defeated enemies, item containment boxes, read chests, or even just finding them in some wrecked corner of the Federal Bureau of Control offices. Unfortunately, the enemies I was aiming the service weapon at simply weren't very engaging to fight. The mysterious force known as the Hiss has the Bureau's employees in its thrall, turning them into mindless drones, which basically translates to shooting humans outfitted with varying degrees of armour and heavy weaponry. There are a few exceptions, like the Hiss Cluster, a translucent orb that buffs and heals your enemies, which you can use to your benefit if you seize it. I was delighted and disturbed when some flying enemies were introduced in the form of human test subjects with sacks on their heads strapped to floating chairs. But taking them down didn't feel so different, despite their skin-crawling appearance. Still, with 5 months to go until Control is due for launch, there's still plenty of time for Remedy to improve its AI systems in an effort to deliver more of a challenge. The firefights could also have been an effect of this particular demo, where Jessie was massively overpowered and tricked out with all kinds of weapon and character mods. But Control employs an encounter director that intermittently puts you against swarms of enemies that scale to your level, keeping you constantly occupied over the course of the game at the expense of authored battles. So instead of shootouts feeling like unique skirmishes built around memorable set pieces, all of my battles started to blend together as I simply strafed around and shot whatever was closest until I was the only thing left standing. Although at one point during a hands-off section of the demo, Jessie came face to face with an astral spike, a fascinating enemy that pulsates and flickers erratically like a purposefully glitched model that sucked in debris like a physics tornado. This is exactly the kind of confusing, discomforting, borderline incomprehensible entity that I want to take on in Control, but it was quickly neutralised by luring it back into containment via a simple cat and mouse manoeuvre. But just look at it. Everything in the Oldest House looks hauntingly beautiful, from the museum-like main lobby built around a colossal tree, to the transforming Art Deco walls of the mirror maze that fold into themselves like interior decorating done by Doctor Strange. But when things got particularly hectic on screen, with a squad of enemies all attacking at once and Jessie flinging rubble every which way, the performance definitely takes a hit. I played Control on a PS4 Pro, but even Sony's premium console struggled to keep up with Control's effects-filled visuals. It's targeting a steady 30 frames a second, but the demo's frame rate definitely dipped rather frequently. And although Jessie can tear up concrete and send desks flying, the environmental destruction will eventually be wiped. At least with the Oldest House, that kind of trans-dimensional resetting makes perfect sense. There's also promise of some wildly different environment types, even though the entirety of Control theoretically takes place in the same one office deep below New York City. The developers told us that there are no outdoor environments, everything's happening within the Oldest House, but it's a vast, infinite space with a lot of things that can happen within it. But for all of the graphical splendour of Control's combat, the quieter moments after all the fighting was over are what really captured my attention. Control feels like it will hit a home run with players who favour unsettling atmosphere over intense action. More Alan Wake than Max Payne, but with Remedy's unique sense of style imbuing all of it. You can find out what awaits in Control when it comes to PS4, Xbox One and PC, August 27th, 2019.